The topic assigned to me is a daunting one for the following basic reasons. First, there are no written records of Tipaimukh's distant past. Whatever information that we have are from the myth and legends, handed down from generation to generation by words of mouth. The name of Tipaimukh began to appear sporadically in writing after the British penetration into the area, and particularly when they used the strategic location as a launching pad to invade Mizoram from the northern flank in 1871 or 72, which is called Violin in Violin number 2. The establishment of Tipaimukh Bazaar from 1873 to 1888 and the annual border meetings between Superintendent of the Rosai Hills, now Mizoram, and the Deputy Commissioner of Manipur at the Tipaimukh site. Second, the present Tipaimukh has been woefully neglected, and virtually every fabric of the society and the civil administration in the area have become paralyzed, making it difficult to pinpoint where the campaign started and where treatment has to begin. Third, its future is bleak and uncertain. Despite all these negative factors, the importance of Tipaimukh as a historic, regional and strategic location from all considerations remains. It's a God-given hinterland, and if its infrastructure and connectivity are developed and properly utilized, it will be a boon not only to the local populace, but also to the surrounding areas as far as the Chin Hills, through Champai and through Chunachandpur or Shillong, as had been the case during the British Raj, when the western Chin Hills, bordering Mizoram and Manipur, got most of its essential supplies from Silchar via Tipaimukh and other smaller outlets along the Barak and Tuibai, like Tai Tukai, Parbukai, and all this Kai we have even in the Tuirial side. Tipaimukh is the name of a place in southwest Manipur where the Barak River, Tuiro, rising from its source near some village in Senapati district, bordering Nagaland, and the Tuibai River from Mizoram lead. The local inhabitants predominantly Mars call it Ronglavaiso, which means a confluence of Tuiro and Tuibai. Tui in Jaw language is water, and Tuiro means Loro River. Loro or Rogan or Gam, whatever you call it, was a legendary figure, the greatest magician that ever lived in this part of the world. Tuibai means a river that has nowhere to go. It literally means a vagabond river. Tui, water. Vai means vagabond. But more appropriately, it's a meandering river. Le is a conjunction meaning in, and so means confluence. Where rivers flow together and become one, like the Blue Nile and the White Nile in Egypt. Tipaimukh is a combination of two words, Tipai and Mukh. The word Tipai is a corrupted form of Tuivai, resulting from mispronunciation or misspelling of Tui as T and Vai as Pai, as most Bengali speakers have difficulty in pronouncing V. And Mukh in Bengali is mouth or confluence. Literally, Tipaimukh means a confluence where Tuivai empties itself to become Tuiro or Barak River. Tipaimukh is on the 700-kilometer long National Highway 150, linking Kohima at the junction with National Highway 53 and Salim in Mizoram at the junction of National Highway 54. and is about 262 kilometers from Chanachandpur, the district headquarters, and 323 kilometers from the state capital, Impal. Silchar, the district capital of Kachar district in Assam state, through which the Barak flows, is the nearest commercial center and road and rail and air links from Tipaimukh to the outside world. Now I come to the historical watershed. The zone descends, covering the Chin, Kuki, Mizoram as a whole, associated the Barak River with the name of the legendary hero and magician, Nalrong, and named the river Tipaimukh after his name. Tipaimukh means Nalrong's river. There are many stories about him and his exploits. It's their kind of chosen contemporary tales, and their history and literature are inseparably entwined with Nalrong. His other name is Ralram or Ralram, which means a man who overcomes and vanquishes his enemies or opponents. The story of Nalrong's conception and birth compare very close to that of Jesus Christ. Traditional belief held that Tipaimukh had a guardian spirit or Hoi, somewhat like the Burmese nun, and Nalrong descended from the line of incarnation of that water spirit, and inherited his exceptional magical ability from a heavenly being called Vanhe. There are many stories of a magical Tipaimukh Dam having 3 voices, each producing beautiful descending notes when struck, and this gong belonged to the Tipaimukh spirit. Nalrong's father Zauhang from Tinsung or Tasung village obtained this gong from an old couple by way of providing shelter at their old age. Many of the so-called Nalrong's exploits claimed by the locals took place in and around Tipaimukh. These include a pierced stone by his arrows, the spot where he burned clouds to remove a spell cast on him by his opponent, another magician named Arsai or Gotufu, a place, it is said, morning mist or normal cloud has never covered till this day. If we go to a village called, what's that, next to Tolu, you go there, there's a precious mist or a cloud, never a cloud. Then you have the footprints on rocks of his double-horned Mithun Sekipir, which he took from Prasai to condole the death of his friend and opponent Keicho, Land Tiger, his hidden or secret water holes, and many, many others. In his book, National Identity, Anthony's speech observed thus: what I have termed the shared historical memories may also take the form of myth. Indeed, for many pre-modern people, the line between myth and history was often blurred or even non-existent. Even today, the line is not as clear-cut as some would like it to be. The controversy over the historicity of Homer and the Trojan War is a case in point. I believe this observation also holds good in relation to Tipaimukh or Tipaimukh myth and legends, including the primordial belief of the local people that the magical hands of the hero will protect, serve, and save them from ruination one day. The epic homeland. Apart from a myth of common ancestry and shared historical memories, a key factor in shaping a sense of common ethnic and national identity is an association with a specific homeland. In ethnic groups in conflict, Donald Horowitz succinctly said that the sense of whence we came is central to the definition of who we are. And this observation explains the importance of Ronglomaisel for the ethnic tribes classified by Jean Grierson under all Phuket names, like Aimo, Anal, Bete, Charai, Chiru, Chate, Dalong, Mar, Rangkol, Paipe, Karam, Poireng, or Porhen or whatever, Kom, Lamjang, or Moso, Purum, Ranglong, Sakechek, and others. This group is commonly identified as Halam in Tripura and Mar in other places, though each clan tends to hold a spread identity. This ethnic group in batches moved west from the Chin Hills, and some of them reached Tripura towards the end of 14th century. The first recorded mention of their settlement in Tripura was in the Tripura Rajmala Chronicles of Tripura, composed during the reign of Dharma Manikya in 1431 AD. Some of those who moved towards Manipur had also already settled in Manipur Valley and the surrounding hills during the reign of King Kalamba, 1545-1562. This from Patien R.S. Singh's book on the towns of Manipur. All these clans nostalgically remembered and claimed that before their dispersal in different directions, their last known group settlement was Ronglomaisel. I visited several non-ethnic settlements in Manipur: Tripura, Kachar, North Kachar Hills, Karbi Anglong, and Meghalaya in January, February 2009, during which I routinely asked the elders of the community their origin, their last known settlement, and when did they come to settle in their present habitat. Almost invariably, their reply was Ronglomaisel. A well-informed and historically sensitive Ranglong leader or elder I met at Bapasa in Tripura gave me very, very interesting and nostalgic accounts of the historical landmarks in and around Ronglomaisel. And the amount of the collective memory left me completely speechless. For them, Ronglomaisel is their second Sindhu and Jerusalem combined, their Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. It bears the indelible stamp of their roots, their history, their identity, their soul. As briefly mentioned earlier, the first time the name of Tipaimukh came into focus in the eyes of the outside world was when the British government decided to invade Mizoram to punish erring chiefs who invaded Kachar Plains and British held territories at will. The northern column or Kachar column directed from Chilchar set up camp number 4 at Tipaimukh, and from there they launched the invasion. R.G. Woodthorpe, Lieutenant Royal Engineers, who left the 10 accounts of the invasion in his book, The Lusai Expedition, said the Deputy Commissioner of Kachar, J.W. Edgar, who accompanied the Kachar column as civil officer, recommended that, as per surveys conducted earlier since 1850, the Tipaimukh should be adopted as a starting point quickly. There are conflicting accounts regarding the time of their arrival, but Woodthorpe clearly mentioned in his book referred to above that General Burchia reconnoitered Tipaimukh in person on the 9th December 1871. There is settlement where they set up camp number 6. near the top of the range on December 19th. After successfully completing their mission, the Kachar Column returned to Tipaimukh on 7th March 1872 and left Tipaimukh on March 10. Lieutenant Woodthorpe's parting lines to Tipaimukh is worth repeating and thought-provoking. He said, by the 10th of March, in accordance with the orders of the government before quarter, all the troops and coolies had bidden farewell to Tipaimukh, and Tuiva itself flowing past ruined huts and deserted godowns, once more greeted the Marat with its ceaseless babble, and disturbed by the cries of coolies and the trumpeting of elephants, while the surrounding jungles relapsed into their former silence, resounding no more to the blows of the invaders' axes. The moot question before us is, how many invaders' axes have since befallen on Tipaimukh? And would the construction of a massive dam in the hollow ground obliterate the sons of the soil and silence their voices forever? 71-72 invasion, Tipaimukh never regained its serenity. Realizing its commercial potential, the British administration gave permission to open Tipaimukh Bazaar in 1873, which did a brisk business in raw rubber for the first year, in exchange for manufactured goods and essential commodities brought from China. But rubber cane began to decline from the next year onwards, as there were not enough wild rubber trees in the jungle to exploit commercially. Besides, the chiefs became ambitious in exacting heavy duty from rubber tappers, and it became uneconomical to pursue the trade. One point worth mentioning here was a very simple practice resorted to by unscrupulous suppliers who sold pebbles covered with rubbers. Over and above all this, the 5 shops operating in Tipaimukh had to be closed down because of sporadic raids from Chief and Kama's men. Despite the zealous intervention of the Deputy Commissioner from time to time and the reopening of the bazaar at intervals, it was finally closed down in 1888. Until the final subjugation of the region and the introduction of the British administration in 1891. With the imposition of the British rule, law and order was soon established, and tribal rights became a thing of the past. Slowly but surely, traders returned to open shops again at Tipaimukh. Another key factor responsible for increasing the strategic importance of Tipaimukh was the arrival of Christianity on February 5, 1910 at Shenma, which became a mission headquarters. Manipur's side of Tipaimukh belonged to the chief of Shenma, the largest village in Manipur. One of the strategic considerations of Joaquin Roberts, pioneer missionary and founder of Tipaimukh Pioneer Mission, which later became Northeast India Mission in 1923, was to support the indigenous mission by generating income through business ventures. With his trusted henchman, H.K. Luna, a born leader and successful businessman, who ran his lucrative business in Idaho, presiding Tipaimukh Pioneer Mission, they came up with a business strategy, which was to buy forest and agricultural products from the banks of the Barak River, stop at Tipaimukh, and they transport the goods through Lakhimpur and Mathare, Silchar, Kolkata, and other trading centers. In this venture, the first hub was to be Tipaimukh, and the second hub was to be Lakhimpur. Therefore, they induced villages along the banks of the Barak and Tiba rivers to take up commercially viable horticultural ventures, and a good number of them started orange and pineapple orchards, which later paid them good dividends. Unfortunately, their vision could not materialize as planned due to many factors beyond their control, including the reverberation of the two world wars, the crisis within the NIC mission itself, which is reverberating even till today, the untimely death of the Luna, and the worldwide economic depression following the collapse of the Wall Street on October 24, 1929, that shook the world for almost 2 decades. But the dream did not die and still holds good. The recent crusade for economic redemption, spearheaded by the retired senior officer Mr. L.Keivom since 2003, is the continuation of this vision this kind about. We are lucky to have Mr. Senator today in our meeting. He can tell us a lot of stories about this. The atavistic belief that Tipaimukh holds long naked gold for the survival of the people in the region will remain and will never die. Of the 9 districts in Manipur, the largest in terms of size is Tipaimukh district, with a population of 2.2 lakh in 2001 census, and a literacy rate of 74.67 as against the very state differential rate of 68.5%. The district has 6 sub-divisional blocks, and Tipaimukh is one of them. The locals call this subdivision in Bar area as Mar area or Marbil, the only spot on earth bearing this name. Headquartered at Parbrum, we are lucky to have Provo, who opened the Parbrum subdivision headquarters, and who really, historically, is the owner of that subdivision. We are very, very lucky to have today in our midst. The locals commonly call this subdivision as Mar area, the only spot on earth bearing this name. Headquartered at Parbrum, it has a total area of 78.948 square kilometers, with 55 villages, 3,975 households, and a population of 24,000, predominantly males. Tipaimukh is the 55th Assembly Constitution of Manipur, and since its inception has been represented by men from Manipur, such as Modi Senate, Mr L.Keivom, Dr. Chato Renamo, and Mursam Senate, the incumbent MLA. I was born and brought up in this area till I matriculated from Penzal High School, the first high school in the Manipur Hills, established in 1951, which produced most of the second generation educated Mahars who later came to occupy important positions in government as well as church organizations. The only road connection then to the church till 1970 was a 4-foot wide mill road and it took 3 days of walk on foot from dawn to dusk to reach the town. Before the opening of the 262 kilometers Tipaimukh road in late 1970s, we got all our essential supplies from Silchar through Tipaimukh. And this situation has slowly been reviving. After Border Road Task Force withdrew the road constructors in 1987, and the Tipaimukh road quickly deteriorated due to disrepair and lack of maintenance. Then in 1999, Tipaimukh road was declared National Highway 150 with the promise to make into a double-lane highway. But the progress has been tardy and at a snail's pace. I traveled by this route in 1986 with the then Deputy Commissioner of Chirachandpur, Mr. B.S. Punia, presently Chief Secretary of Manipur. The road then was in good condition, and one could easily reach Tipaimukh on the same day from Chirachandpur. I took this route again in March, April 1989 on a visit from Rangoon and reached New Verbeck in Mizoram from Tipaimukh at dusk. After a gap of 18 years, I visited the area again from Delhi through Aizawl and Tipaimukh routes in October 2007 and 2008 respectively. By then, this so-called National Highway 150 became a jungle path full of potholes and sinking mud. That reminds you of a scene in Chapter 1 of John Bunyan's Pilgrim Progress, in which he vividly depicted Christian precariously wading through the slough of despair. You know what you'll do? Yeah, all the way down from Tipaimukh to Tipaimukh. Don't know what you'll do. The apathy and neglect shown by the state and central government to the Tipaimukh area is appalling. The best way to experience their failure to travel in this infamous National Highway 150 under unceasing autumn rains, which I did twice in October 2007 and 2008. No one I know of is fit enough to describe the real situation. While the world is heading for post-IT age, the Tipaimukh area is bouncing back to the Stone Age. The story and mindless neglect of their only transportation route to the district headquarters has adversely affected the socio-economic livelihood of the remote villages, as they are unable to market their forests and other products and buy and transport their essentials. This has seriously impacted the overall development of the region. In the 1980s, some semblance of governance was still in place. But in the 1990s, they had vanished into thin air. Rickety office buildings were still there, but had become the home of carols and pigs at night. Government schools were still there by name, but no teachers. Frayed and faded signboards of rural hospitals and dispensaries were still there, but in locked condition. They were really like that, and no regime. No doctors, no nurses, no medicine, no electricity, no public distribution system, no proper communication system, no newspaper, no internet, mobile or telephone connectivity except radio, no proper water supply. How many more laws? I can't count. Let's stop counting that. It's really simple. The signboard of a petrol pump near Tipaimukh was still hanging precariously under the thorny bush. After the last drop of petrol dripped more than 20 years ago, and Tipaimukh Bridge on National Highway 150, the only bridge linking Manipur and Mizoram, which was washed away by the Sergeant Tipaimukh in 1989, had been replaced by a swinging nylon bailey bridge. If you happen to go, then you can only feel how it feels. The dreaded mountain came and left, but perennial famine remains firmly entrenched. Corruption of all kinds has seeped through every pore of the society. Honesty has taken flight to be replaced by hypocrisy, which now sits in every nook and corner of the society, including inside the hollow and dispirited churches. Taking advantage of the inaccessibility of this God-forsaken place, the UNLF set up training camps in the area and took control of the road and allowed no government vehicles to pass beyond Bungo village at the outskirts of Tipaimukh Dam till 2005-2006, when the Indian Army launched an operation and declared the entire region of military groups. But not before the cruel raping of 21 women in Dungtilan village on the night of January 16, 2006, and the exodus of a large number of frightened villagers to Mizoram. This was followed at intervals by mysterious death of children and the mindless response from Tipaimukh. So far have been to send a malaria doctor and some uninformed nurses to test blood for malaria in the most primitive fashion. How better insult one can pour onto another fellow countryman than this? The isolation of the people of Tipaimukh by the government is complete. But they cannot deny or ignore their existence, as they are custodian of a sacred and hollow ground, where the highest dam in India is not to be built without consulting them. Will the authorities concerned persist in trying to deny their existence? What are the merits and demerits of constructing Tipaimukh Dam? What are the benefits that will accrue from it, or the negative impact that will befall on the science of the soil? Will naked calculation of commercial or economic benefit from the dam alone override all the human considerations? Is it justifiable to sacrifice the fate of the people living in the region and their existence in cruel exchange for the so-called development? We gather together here today to deliberate on these issues with an open and constructive mind. The future. I am not going to delve deep into what the future holds for Tipaimukh. I am more interested in what we do, or what can we do to save Tipaimukh from extinction. It is amply clear to my mind that unless we stop Tipaimukh from further sinking in its rock and do something to bail it out, no amount of self-mortification from public restaurants, during election campaigns, seminar halls and church pulpits will help. The rock within has to be cleansed and repaired from within and not from without. Outsiders can only lend a helping hand. The degenerating factors responsible for this quagmire have to be identified and corrected. For this, it is necessary to re-examine closely where and how and why things went so wrong, and whether corrective courses can be taken. If this salvation is not done, It is really immaterial whether the dam is constructed or not. Tipaimukh will ultimately self-destruct itself and sink down to oblivion in its own sludge. Everyone knows that Tipaimukh is one of the subdivisional blocks in a failed state. The system of governance had collapsed since long, providing a good excuse for the gun-toting hand to run a parallel but seemingly more effective government. In my travelogue of 2004, I wrote an article called Land of the Living Dead, and I quote a few paragraphs to read my observation. I'm not going to read this. I am going to read only the end, basically. I was told that the number of houses officially declared and registered, the hand is dead moments. I was told that the number of houses officially declared and registered in the villages is much more than the actual number of houses. And according to the number of voters too. It is indeed an inflation of a strange kind, perhaps not found anywhere on earth. How could this happen? Because enumeration in Manipur is a great political bargaining game. In the same areas, there are more voters than the population. In some areas, there are more voters than the population. The dead did not die here for good. They faithfully surface again at the time of election. If you sit with any official and ask his experience on election duties, he will tell you many juicy election tales that you will never find even in a book of fiction. Same thing happened naturally in this land of deception. A paradise turned into a blazing inferno by its own people. It certainly beats Dante's Inferno, unquote. Tipaimukh has its full share of the results of the tragic drama briefly described above. The irony is that one can neglect Tipaimukh, but cannot write off as it sits on a strategic location where a high dam is to be built. Will this dam be a boon or a bad? Survival or extinction? Or salvation or eternal damnation? For whom the Tipaimukh bear tolls is for you and me to answer, and the government. Argument for and against building Tipaimukh Dam has been going on for some years, and dissenting voices, particularly from the affected areas, and the riparian regions in India and Bangladesh will grow louder and louder as awareness with the damage it can cause increases. Some even call it a geo-tectonic blunder of international dimension, an alarming venture of high magnitude, a dead nail to indigenous people in the region, a doomsday project which will inundate vast forest lands, damage biodiversity and ecological balance, and cause devastating floods and earthquakes. A project by selfish motive and vested interest and many others. The protagonists of this means these dissenting voices, Jeremiah, and argue that the benefit will far surpass the damage it can cause. However, even in a case like this, where opinions are diametrically polarized, there often is a median line for possible solution. Lack of transparency and disregard of proper consultation mechanism for a mega project like the proposed Tipaimukh Dam can create avoidable misunderstanding and complications. Casual observation of the manner the concerned authority have so far handled the proposed dam betrayed the confidence and trust of the local people who will bear the brunt of the project. Any further attempt to write corruption over them and deprive them of their birthright to live and survive will be a violation of their constitutional rights and it will boomerang. This section called for a review from all angles. Thank you.